Okay, so have you ever, like, been talking to someone you know, and they introduce themselves, and then, like, 2 seconds later, you've completely blanked on their name?
Oh, yeah, it totally happens to me all the time, actually.
Right. It's like the most awkward thing.
Yeah, you just kind of smile and nod and hope they don't ask you to repeat it.
Exactly. Or, like, when you walk into a room and completely forget why you went in there in the first
Oh,
place.
yeah, I do that one all the time, too. It's like my brain just resets.
It's so weird. But anyway, those are all examples of forgetting, which is something we all experience. And it actually leads to a really interesting question that our source explores today, which is forgetting always a bad thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's the core of what we're diving into today. Our source offers some really fascinating scientific perspectives on why we forget. And our goal with this deep dive is to really understand, this common part of being human and to see what insights the science can offer us.
Awesome. So let's jump right in. And I got to say, the most surprising thing in this source was that it actually proposes that forgetting is a sign that our brains are working properly.
Right. Kind of a counterintuitive idea.
Yeah, it feels a bit upside down at first.
It does. But when you think about it, the logic is actually really compelling. We're bombarded with so much information every single day.
Hmm.
And the source suggests that forgetting acts like a crucial maintenance system. It allows our brains to prioritize what's important and avoid being completely overwhelmed.
Huh. So it's not a bug, it's a feature. Kind of like how my phone automatically clears out old messages to keep things running smoothly.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. The source uses a similar comparison to a computer deleting unnecessary files, to free up space and processing power. So it's not that our brains are faulty, it's that they're constantly optimizing themselves for efficiency.
I like that. Okay, so now that we sort of get why forgetting might be a good thing, let's look at the reasons why this forgetting happens.
Yeah.
The source highlights a couple of key reasons. The first one is something called encoding failure.
Right. Encoding failure. So think of it like this. You're at a party, it's loud and chaotic. You get introduced to someone new and their name just doesn't stick. That's often encoding failure at play. Your brain didn't properly save that piece of information in the first place because maybe you weren't fully paying attention.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like trying to download a file with a bad internet connection. It just doesn't go through.
Exactly. And the source emphasizes that if the initial attention isn't there, if you're not really focused when you first encounter something, that information might never make it into your long-term memory.
Makes sense. Okay, what about the second reason?
The second key reason is decay.
Decay. So like memories just kind of fade away over time, like an old song you haven't heard in years, you might struggle to recall the tune.
That's a perfect analogy. The source explains that if a memory isn't accessed and used regularly, the neural connections associated with it can weaken over time, making it harder to retrieve. It's like the use it or lose it principle, like forgetting vocabulary in a language you no longer practice.
Right, right. Okay, so all of this is starting to make a lot more sense. So knowing all of this, what are some practical steps that the source suggests we can take to improve our memory? If we actually want to remember things.
Well, the source outlines several strategies that can be really effective. Repetition is key. Revisiting information multiple times helps to strengthen those neural connections in your brain. It's like practicing a skill. The more you do it, the better you get.
Okay, repetition makes sense. What else?
Memory techniques are also super helpful, like using acronyms or creating vivid mental images to link with the information you want to remember.
Oh, like making up a silly sentence to remember a grocery list or something.
Exactly. And then perhaps the most crucial factor, according to the source, is sleep.
Sleep. Oh, yeah. I definitely know that I feel super foggy if I haven't slept well.
Absolutely. And the source points out that sleep is when our brains consolidate memories, transferring information from short-term to long-term storage. So getting enough sleep is essential for memory formation and retention.
Wow, so all those times I pulled all-nighters before exams probably didn't help.
Yeah, the source kind of hints that pulling all-nighters might be doing more harm than good in the long run. Your brain needs that time to process and store information properly.
Huh, interesting. Okay, so to summarize what we've learned from this deep dive into the source, it seems that forgetting actually serves a purpose. It keeps our brains efficient by clearing out clutter. But we can also take steps to improve our memory by being present and attentive when we learn new things, by actively reviewing information we want to remember, by utilizing memory techniques, and of course, by prioritizing sleep.
That's a great summary. You've really hit all the key points. And it's all about understanding how our brains work and working with those natural processes.
So here's something to think about after our discussion. Have you had a recent experience where forgetting something small or insignificant actually cleared your mental space for a more important thought or task? What might that tell you about what your brain subconsciously values? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the fascinating world of forgetting. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.